Hey guys, TapDawg here with Little Alchemist Helper. Today I'm doing a top 10 countdown of the best absorb cards and best counterattack cards in game. We're going to start with the absorb cards. Now what makes an absorb card good is you want it to have obviously a high attack, but also a pretty high defense. So you're trying to find something that has a good total score. Preferably, if you happen to look at the two, you want to more focus on attack than defense, because how absorb cards work is however much damage you deal to your opponent, you heal for that amount. So let's say you have a card that has 30 attack and your opponent has 20 defense, you do 10 damage, then you heal for 10 damage as well. So that's just kind of an idea. So again, what you're looking for is a card that has high attack, but also a pretty good or decent defense as well. And that kind of helps you figure out your best absorb cards. So I'm doing this on the top 10 for heroics use, because again, you don't really use your absorb cards in the arena, you'll use them in your heroics. So that's how I'm looking at them. So there might be some cards that rank higher than other cards, and that's because they have a higher attack than defense, but they might not have a higher total score. So just keep that in mind as I go through this list, and you might say, well, that one doesn't have as much attack and defense combined than the other one does, but because my top priority is getting the most bang for your buck. Alright, so with that being said, let's start this top 10 countdown list, and there are going to be a couple of duplicates here and there, and I'll let you guys know about them as we get through them. But coming in at number 10 is actually a two-way tie. So number 10 is going to be Banzai, and it's also going to be Cookie Beast. Both Banzai and Cookie Beast level up to have 31 attack and 25 defense, and that's going to be a total score of 56. Now, Banzai comes from the Tiny Pack, and Cookie Beast comes from the Confectionery Pack. Both of those packs are easy to get in game. They rotate through once a year or so, and these are relatively easy cards to get. The attack isn't super duper high at 31. That's kind of the smallest attack that you're going to see on this list I give you today. But what these two cards have going for them is their defense at 25. Typically, you're not going to see your opponents in heroics have more than about 20 or so attack, maybe 21, 22. So the fact that they have 25 attack almost guarantees that you'll never be having damage dealt to you when you use this card, but instead just inflicting damage and gaining your health back. So that's why these two make the top 10 list. There is one card that didn't make the top 10 that has 32 attack, and that's Desert Pirate, but it only has 21 defense. So that's why it didn't make this list. It could have, so that was a fringe, like number 11, I guess you could say, but every other card on here has 32 or higher attack except for these two. Alright, coming in at number 9, we actually have a 5-way tie. It's going to be between the Abyss Knight, Amphisbane, or Bane, I don't know how to say that one, Oozer, Quicksand, and Unicorn Blood. All 5 of those cards have 32 attack and 24 defense, and I'll kind of go through these one by one and explain how you get each of them. They all come from packs. The Abyss Knight is from the Skeletal Pack. Then you have Amphisbane, that's a hard one to say, but that one comes from the Sahara Pack. The Desert Pirate that didn't make this list also comes from Sahara Pack, so both of those are good absorbs from that pack. Next up is Oozer, and that comes from the Phantom Pack. Then you have Quicksand, which comes from the Swift Pack. And finally, you have Unicorn Blood, which comes from the First Aid Pack. So again, these ones have the same total score as the ones that made top 10. They just have a slight difference where they have 1 extra attack and 1 less defense, but the same total score as Banzai and Cookie Beast. So the reason why these rank higher, again, is because typically in your heroics, your opponent's not going to do more than 20, 22 damage or so. So either of these would still block the majority of your opponent's attacks, but this one gives you 1 extra attack, which means it heals you for 1 extra. So that's why these ones rank at number 9 versus number 10, even though they have the same total score. Alright, moving up to number 8, we have a 2-way tie. It's going to be Terrace and Tempest. Both of these cards, very similar to the previous ones, they have 32 attack, 25 defense. So they both just have one extra defense point as compared to the ones from the number 8 ranking, but that's why they rank slightly higher, just they have a slightly higher defense. You can get Terrace from the Subterranean pack, and you can get Tempest from the Mutant pack. Now, I really like Terrace because this one is just a perfect card to use, especially when it's the first turn against the opponent when you do the 10 extra damage to them. So that means if you're using Master Elementalist. So you're going to not only have the 32 attack, but plus the extra 10. I usually get about 20 to maybe even 25 health returning to me depending on the turn and the opponent's card. So it's definitely a good one to use. I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 7 all by itself is going to be Mind Control Device. Mind Control Device has 33 attack, 22 defense, so it loses some defense, but it does gain an attack. And again, I think because it's on that threshold of it might get a little bit of damage to it, but probably won't, I rank it slightly higher than those other ones. But if you are more defense inclined, those other cards might rank higher. But again, I'm doing this from my perspective of what I would want as my top 10 in Heroics. So with that being said, this pack, or Mind Control Device, comes from the Arms pack. So that's where you're able to get this card. Number 6 is all by itself as well, and that's going to be the Flapjack Octopus. Flapjack Octopus has 34 attack and 19 defense. So again, you get another increase in the attack, but at the disadvantage of losing quite a few of the defense. In fact, it only has 53 total score. So this is definitely a glass cannon, as you'll see. But again, if I'm gonna maybe lose out on a point or two, but still gain a point or two, it's kind of a I don't know what you call a trade-off there. I think more times than not, you're gonna gain more than you're gonna lose from this card, so that's why it ranks higher than those other ones. And this card, just like the Banzai, comes from the Tiny Pack. So this is another pack where you have 2 cards that are both good, both absorbs. So if you are looking for a pack to buy for absorbs, Tiny Pack, Sahara Pack are both good options because you're going to have 2 decent absorbs from those packs. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Mind Slug. Mind Slug has 34 attack, 21 defense. So that's why it ranks higher than Flapjack Octopus. Same attack, but 2 extra defense points. And those 2 extra defense points can be really great and helpful, especially when you get a character who has 20 attack, that they do 1 damage to you with Flapjack Octopus, but they don't do any damage to you at all with Mind Slug. So that's why it ranks higher. Mind Slug you can get from the Slime Pack, which, as of the recording of this right now, is in-game. So if you're looking for a good Absorb card, this would be your time. This is ranked number 5 on my list of the top Absorb cards. Alright, coming in at number 4 is going to be a 2-way tie. Number 4, 2-way tie. And they're both boss cards. So it's going to be Lucy and it's going to be Zanthia. Both Lucy and Zanthia have a 32 attack, 28 defense for a total score of 60. These are the highest total score cards for the absorbs, but again, they only have 32 attack. These are good ones to use to guarantee that you won't have an attack hit you back. I might use these if my opponent has full orbs and I'm kind of risking it. I don't know what they're going to attack with, but I want to heal up a little bit. This would guarantee me that I'm going to heal up a little bit as long as they don't use a curse card. And then it also protects me from a pretty high defense there. So if they end up using a critical strike, I wouldn't have as much damage done to me. So that's kind of the use for these 2. You can also use them as just a traditional absorb card during your first turn or anytime you need to use them. Both of these come from their own packs. So Lucy comes from the Crazed AI event and the pack, and then Zanthia comes from the Invasion pack and event. And then both of them are also able to be purchased from the Heroics in the Diamond Final Form packs that are available in the Heroics. I think it's about 250 skulls to purchase one of them. So, all right, coming in at number 3, all by him lonesome, is Grey Goo. Grey Goo has 34 attack, 22 defense for a total score of 56. This ranks higher than the other ones previously mentioned because of the amount of defense it has. It has 1 extra defense point than the Mind Slug, which we mentioned earlier at number 5. So Grey Goo is from the End of the World pack. Another good card to add to your Heroics if you need to add some more Absorb cards. Coming at number 2 is going to be a two-way tie with Ninja Sorcerer and Sugar Demon. Ninja Sorcerer and Sugar Demon both have 34 attack, 23 defense. So just one extra defense as compared to Grey Goo, and that's why they rank higher than Grey Goo does. Both of these are pack cards. Ninja Sorcerer comes from the Accursed pack, and Sugar Demon comes from the Confectionery pack. In fact, Ninja Sorcerer is one of the Diamond Final Form cards that you're able to level up. So you already knew it was going to be a good card, but because of that, you can also say it's a pretty good card for that reason. I just added one of these to my heroics. I'm very happy with it. It's the same amount of total score as Terrace, which had the 3225, but it just has 2 extra attack and 2 less defense, which again, you're not really going to come into problems with that because its defense is at 23, so you're just getting extra points for yourself. And then finally, number 1 from this list is going to be, drumroll please, ta-da, Deathray! Deathray has 35 attack and 18 defense. It is the highest attacking absorb card in game. It does have a really low defense though, as you can see at 18, but because you usually only see up to 20 in there, I still think this is a better option because more than likely your opponent's only going to do 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, maybe 18 damage. So more often than not, it's a benefit and not a problem. It is a glass cannon, like I've mentioned in a couple other ones here, but I think it's definitely a number 1 ranker. And I like it because you can get it in multiple ways. So you get it from the Mad Scientist event and pack, so it's one of the very first absorb cards you get to see in game since it's from the 2nd event. You can also get it from the heroics, just like a couple of these other cards I mentioned. But finally, it's also in the Galactic Wars pack, and Galactic Wars is one of my favorites because I love Star Wars. So because it's available in so many different packs in so many different ways, and because it has the highest attack, I've ranked it number 1. Now I mentioned at the start of this I was going to also do counterattacks in this video, but this has taken up so much time, I don't want to make you guys sit here for 20 minutes to listen to all of it. So I'm going to put this into 2 parts, and I'll probably post them pretty close together, maybe not the same day, but maybe a couple days apart. But that's my top 10 list for the absorbs. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, or if you think there's other cards that should be added. Again, I will post a link in the description of all of the absorb cards so you can see how they are, what they are, and then I only put the how to obtain on the ones that I'm referring to because it takes a little bit of time to research that. So if you see a card on there that you really want to know how do I get this card, you can always go to the Little Alchemist wiki and look on there and it'll tell you those details. Alright, thanks you guys. Bye.